Hi, I'm Paul Hughes-Barlow, and these are my tarot lessons. In the previous couple of lessons, I've looked at these four sets of cards in front of me, in particular about how on the top cards they relate to each other, and then about card counting in this pile in particular, the strength card and the desires part. Now, in this one, we had a lot of minor cards and court cards. It's actually very easy to card count. So what we're going to do now is look at this much larger pile, the outcome pile, because there's quite a few major cards in here that we can look at, and I'll demonstrate how to do the card counting for these. So I'll just spread out these cards for you, and what I'll do is I'll actually put this list of cards on the website so you can analyse them yourself and put them in your own order using your own tarot deck and see how you do. So, we have quite a lot of cards here, don't we? One of the first things we have to do is look at the number of elements that we have, see how many cards we have of those. So we start with the fire cards. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wands, 6 fire cards, and we'll include the Emperor in this because that's very much to do with Aries, that's fire as well. So 6 fire cards. The Earth cards we'll do. The Devil is Capricorn, we'll count that as Earth as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Quite a lot of Earth cards there. So we're going to do Cups next. So we have Pisces, the Moon card next, the Hangman. They're both 2 water cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4 water cards. And the next thing to look at is the Swords pile. How many air cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not too bad an elemental balance that we have with the cards. Some interesting things that we have with these cards is to look at the number of times where particular cards come together. And one particular example in here, we have 2 aces. And the aces, 2 aces in a sequence, always mean a move or change. It's either of home or work or both. So in relation to this, where nothing seems to happen, things do seem to change. So we can tell that there's going to be some movement in these cards that weren't showing up here in the desires pile. I think there's some other good indications that changes are going to happen, because we have the Wheel of Fortune here, and that's next to the Death card and the 3 of Wands. Now the Death card in this case, if you remember at the beginning of these lessons, I said that last November something must have happened to make this person want to change their life. And I thought maybe in March something would happen. And we have here these 3 cards which suggest that this is going to happen. We have the 3 of Wands, Fortune card, and the Devil, the Death card. The 3 of Wands relates to April, and I said that in March or April maybe the changes are going to happen. So this is a very good sign that these changes are going to happen. So we have good news for our clients. The changes that she wants to make are very likely to happen in a few months' time. So all is not lost. Now, there's some interesting things in these cards as well, because one of the things we have to do is look at the elemental relationships between the cards. And down here, on this end here, we have some particularly interesting things, because we have the Knight of Discs, then the 9 of Swords, Cruelty, 6 of Swords, the Princess of Discs, the 7 of Swords, sorry, and the Prince of Discs. Swords and discs, air and earth, they clash, they weaken each other. So clearly, there's a lot of arguments about travel and what's going on. We may well see that the Prince of Discs is the Prince of Cups in Princess of Discs rather is the Princess of Cups in here. I mentioned they look like to me there's something about her wanting to move and change her life, and it seems to show up here as well, you see. So there's something going on, and the Knight of Discs may well be the Princess of Cups, the Prince of Cups in here, and he's not happy about her going. She wants to, the cards around her is the Six of Swords, which is science, and it's a card very much of travel, going abroad. Next, the Seven of Swords, which often, so the Six of Swords is travel over water, and the Seven of Swords often represents travel over land. So there's some changes going on. She's restless. Emotionally, she's unhappy because she doesn't have any water around her. Notice there's no fire in there, so there's still a kind of conflict that's going on. Towards the centre of these cards, we have the Queen of Discs. This may well be the Queen of Cups that was in here. The cards around her are the Four of Wands and the Ace of Discs. It's about money and security. The Four of Wands is to do with Aries and April again. So we can still see that these are the changes. And if we considered these cards, the Queen of Discs as representing the Queen of Cups in here, we'd have to say that she's the strongest card, because the Knight of Discs, who's probably the man, he has the Nine of Swords there. It's a weak card, and it weakens these cards here, and he's under a lot of stress, and she's taking over the reins, basically. So we can see that this business thing, the Devil card here, still stands. It's a very strong suggestion that there's a lot of work and career going on here. Very strong for the woman, the Queen of Discs, because she's surrounded by strong, powerful cards. But the man, he's weak. He has the cruelty card next to him. He's struggling. There we are. So this is my overall analysis, just by looking at the elements and how the cards relate to each other, of what's going on here. There's also some significant cards a bit further up here. We talked about the idea that there's emotional conflicts and confusion that was going on, and this is exemplified by these four cards here. What we have is the Ten of Wands, oppression, next to the Hangman, which is sorrow and loss, and then we have the Moon card, deception again, and the Devil card. So the loss, so there's a lot of pressure on things, really bearing down and worrying about losing money and finances that are going on with this. The card next to that is the Ace of Swords, which is like the beginning of something, and it's next to Three of Cups. So there's like the Three of Cups is the things you want to happen, but the Three of Cups is surrounded by the Seven of Discs and the Ace of Swords. So we can see that the Three of Cups, which is generally a great card, it means the things you want to happen, happiness, fulfillment, is expecting bad things to go on. Then we also have a Queen of Swords in here. Maybe there's some other woman causing trouble as well, or maybe she's wanting revenge. This is kind of more an emotional gut reaction to things rather than the strong business-minded elements that are here. So in the next lesson, what I'm going to do is look at card counting for you and showing you how to bring these elements together and how I can tell the story and see what relationship these cards actually have, particularly the court cards.